Good morning, students. In history, we are studying theme 2, empires, and in this theme, chapter 3 is in an empire across the 3 continents. Yesterday, we read in this chapter controlling workers, and now our today's topic is social hierarchies. Students, in history, theme 2, empires, first chapter, empire across the 3 continents. Our today's topic is social hierarchies. In this topic, let us stand back from the details now and try and get a sense of the social structure of the empire. And try and get a sense of the social structures of the empire. So in this topic we will study about social structures of the empire. Tacitus. We have read about this historian in our earlier topic. He was a renowned historian, namely Tacitus, described the leading social groups of the early empire as follows. So which were the social groups of the early empire were according to Tacitus? First, senators. In Latin we call senators patres, and literally patres means fathers. So the first group was senators, leading members of the equestrian class. We will study in detail about this class equestrian, what does it mean and how it was derived and from which word this word is derived, we will study later. The respectable section of the people. So this equestrian class was the respectable section of the people, those attached to the great houses. The unkempt lower class. The word unkempt means dirty, uncultured, illiterate persons. The unkempt, it is the second class. First class was senators and second class was unkempt lower class, plebs sordida. It is a Latin name, who he tells us were addicted to the circus and theatrical displays. So this class was indulged in passing their times and were addicted to the circus and theatrical displays. And finally the third class was slaves. So students, Tacitus described the leading social groups of the early empire as follows. First was senators, second was the unkept lower class, and the third was slaves. In the early 3rd century, when the Senate numbered roughly 1,000, approximately half of all senators still came from Italian families. It means 500 senators out of 1,000 senators were still coming from the Italian families. By the late empire, which starts with the reign of Constantine. Constantine is a place, and reign of Constantine means the king whose name was Constantine, the rule of that king. So the reign of Constantine first. In the early part of the 4th century, the first two groups mentioned by Tacitus, which are the senators and the equites, had merged into a unified and expanded aristocracy, and at least half of all families were of African or Eastern region. At least half of the families were of African and eastern region. The word equities here the word equates, the word equities, equities means horse riders. A class which is related to horse riders is known as equites. Knights or horsemen were traditionally the second most powerful and wealthy group. Originally, they were families whose property qualified them to serve in the cavalry. So, who were equites? Equites were traditionally the second most powerful and wealthy groups. Their property qualified them to serve in the cavalry. Because of their property and their high place in the society entitles them to serve in the cavalry. Cavalry is a force in which horses are used. Hence the name. Like senators, most knights were landowners, but unlike senators, many of them were ship owners, traders and bankers. Hence most of the senators and knights were landowners. But unlike senators, there are also persons included in this class, equites. Those are belongs to ship owners, traders and bankers, and they were involved in business activities. Now we should come back to the point where we left the chapter. At least half of all families were of African and Eastern origin. This late Roman aristocracy was enormously wealthy, but in many ways less powerful than the purely military elites who came almost entirely from non-aristocratic backgrounds. So in late Roman aristocracy was enormously wealthy, but in many ways less powerful. They were wealthy but less powerful than the purely military elites. The persons who came from purely military elites, this class was enormously wealthy but less powerful, because they came from non-aristocratic backgrounds. Most of the equites came from non-aristocratic backgrounds. As we see, they belong to the bankers, traders and ship owners. The middle class now considered of the considerable mass of persons connected with imperial service in the bureaucracy and army, but also the more prosperous merchants and farmers, of whom there were many in eastern provinces. So now who were included in the middle class? The middle class now consisted of the considerable masses of persons connected with imperial service in bureaucracy and army, but also the more prosperous merchants and farmers, of whom there were many in eastern provinces. Yani they also belong to the prosperous merchants and farmers, as well as the persons from imperial service in bureaucracy and army. Tacitus described this respectable middle class as clients of the great senatorial house. Tacitus, the great historian, described this respectable middle class as clients of great senatorial house. Now it was chiefly government service and dependence on the state that sustained many of these families. So these families sustained just because of the government service and dependence on the state. Below them were the vast mass of lower classes known as collectively as humiliores. And the third and last class was in which vast mass of the lower classes known collectively as humiliores. Literally the word humiliores means lower. They comprised a rural labor force of which many were permanently employed on the large estates. So this humiliores class, which means lower class, comprised of rural labor force of which many were permanently employed on large estates. These people were permanently employed on large estates. Workers in industrial and mining establishments. They also belong to the workers who work in industrial and mining establishments, and migrant workers who supplied much of the labor from the grain and olive harvest. Harvest means crop. Grain and olive harvest, and also for the building industry. They were construction laborers. Self-employed artisans who it was said were better fed than wage laborers, and also they were consist of self-employed artisans, and life of artisans, living standard of artisans were considered better than that of wage laborers, and also they were consisted of a large mass of casual laborers, especially in big cities, and of course the many thousands of slaves that were still found all over the Western Empire in particular. Particularly slaves were found in all over the Western Empire. So the third and the last class was known as humiliores, and the word humiliores means lower, and they comprised of rural labor force of which many were permanently employed on the large estates, workers in industrial and mining establishments, migrant workers, labor for grain and olive harvest and for the building industry, self-employed artisans who it was said were better than wage laborers, a large mass of casual laborers, especially in the big cities, and of course the many thousands of slaves that were still found all over the Western Empire in particular. One writer of the early 5th century, the historian Olympiodorus, who was also an ambassador, tells us that the aristocracy based in the city of Rome drew annual income of up to 4,000 lbs of gold. The historian Olympiodorus, who was also an ambassador, tells us that the aristocracy based in the city of Rome drew annual income of 4,000 lbs of gold. Lbs means pounds of gold from their estates, not counting the produce they consumed directly. The monetary system of the late empire broke with the silver-based currencies of the first 3 centuries because Spanish silver mines were adjusted and government ran off sufficient stocks of the metal to support a stable coinage in the silver. Thus, the monetary system of the late empire, which was silver-based currencies, were collapsed because Spanish silver mines were adjusted. There was no more silver metal available in the Spanish mines, and because of this The monetary system based on silver-based currencies was collapsed. Government ran out of sufficient stock of the metal to support a stable coinage in silver. Constantine founded the new monetary system on gold. Constantine first was the ruler who founded the new monetary system on gold, and there were vast amount of this in circulation throughout the late antiquity. Constantine founded the new monetary system of gold and found in throughout the late inequalities. The late Roman bureaucracy, both the higher and middle echelons, was a comparatively affluent group because it drew the bulk of its salary in gold and invest much of this in buying the assets like land. The word echelon means category, type, and the word affluent means very rich. So the late Roman bureaucracy, both the higher and middle echelons, was a comparatively affluent group because it drew the bulk of its salary in gold and invested much of this in buying up the assets like land. They used their salary which they get in terms of gold and they use it to buy the assets like land. They invest their salary in assets like land. There was of course also a great deal of corruption, especially in the judicial system and in administration of military supplies. The extortion of the higher bureaucracy and the greed of provincial governors were proverbial, but government intervened repeatedly to curb these forms of corruption. So there was corruption also available, a great deal of corruption was also available in the society, in the system, and especially in judicial system and in the administration of military supplies. The extortion of higher bureaucracy. Extortion means to take away something from you with force. It is known as extortion without your consent. If something is taken away with force, then it is known as extortion. So the extortion of the higher bureaucracy and the greed of the provincial governors were proverbial. They were very much badly known. Proverbial means badly known for their extortion or their greed. Who? The high bureaucracy and the provincial governors. But government intervened repeatedly to curb these forms of corruption. We only know about them in the first place because of the law that tried to put them end, and because historians and other members of the intelligentsia. Intelligentsia means a group of people which are learned and which are very intelligent persons. So we only know about them in the first place because of the law that tried to put an end to them. It was the law which tried to put them to an end, and because of historians and other members of intelligentsia denounced such practices. So these persons who belong to the intelligentsia and who belong to the historians, they denounced such practices. This element of criticism is a remarkable feature of the classical world. So we should underline this. Okay, this feature, which feature? This element of criticism is remarkable feature of the classical world. In classical world, they were allowed to criticize their rulers, and it is a remarkable feature. It is not found in our times of society or democracy. The Roman state was an authoritarian regime In other words, dissent was rarely tolerated and government usually responded to protest with violence. Government does not support this type of criticism. They usually responded to protest with violence. They use military forces to this type of protest, and this type of dissent was rarely tolerated, or we can say this type of dissent was not tolerated by the government or the Roman state, because Roman state was an authoritarian regime. They just follow the orders of their rulers. And the government usually responded to protest with violence, especially in the cities of the east, where people were often fearless in making fun of emperors. In eastern cities or the cities of the east, people used to make the fun of emperors fearlessly. So emperors do not like this type of dissent, and they suppress it with violence, with the force of military or troops. Yet a strong tradition of Roman law had emerged by the 4th century, and this acted as a brake on even the most fearsome emperors. Then what happened? A strong tradition of Roman law. Law was superior to the ruler. A strong tradition of Roman law had emerged by the 4th century, and this acted as a brake on even the most fearsome emperors. Fearsome means very, very dangerous, very cruel emperors. It also acted as a brake on even the most fearsome emperors. And who acted? The strong tradition of Roman law. Emperors were not free to do whatever they liked. Emperors cannot do according to their wish. They have to follow the Roman laws. And the law was actively used to protect civil rights. Law was used to protect the civil rights. That is why in the later 4th century it was possible for powerful bishops. Bishops are the padris or high padris in Christian church, like Ambrose. Ambrose was the bishop, well-known bishop. So that is why in the later 4th century it was possible for powerful bishops like Ambrose to confront equally powerful emperors when they were excessively harsh or repressive in their handling of civilian population. When powerful emperors were excessively harsh or repressive in their handling of the civilian population, then the bishops like Ambrose equally confront with them. They were equally powerful in comparison to emperors, and they confront with the emperors whenever these emperors excessively harsh or repressive in their handling of civilian population. Now in right side we have a paragraph in a bracket, in a square bracket. It is written by Olympiodorus of Thebes. As we know, Olympiodorus was also a great writer, a historian. So he tells about incomes of the Roman aristocracy early 5th century. What was the income of Roman aristocracy in early 5th century? Each of the great houses of Rome contained within itself everything which a medium-sized city would hold. There was everything which a medium-sized city could hold, like a hippodrome. Hippodrome is a field where race of horses is being carried out. Fora means stage, temples, fountains and different kinds of baths. big bathrooms where a lot of persons, near about 50 and 100% altogether, take a bath, known as different kinds of baths. Many of the Roman households received an income of 4,000 pounds of gold per year from their properties. As an average, a Roman household received an income of 4,000 pounds from his property, not including grain, wine and other produce. So in this income from grain, wine and other produce is not included. If sold, would have amounted to 1/3 of the income in gold. If wine, grapes and grain produce is sold, then it would be equal to the 1/3 of the 4,000 pound gold. The income of the household at Rome of the second class was 1,000 or 1,500 pound of gold. The income of the first class was 4,000 plus 1/3 of 4,000 pounds of gold, and the income of the second class was equal to the 1,000 or 1,500 pounds of gold. So students, that is enough for today. That is all which I have to teach regarding to social hierarchies. You should take a quick reading of this topic at your house. After reading this chapter, I will send you some questions, very short answer type question and short answer type questions out of this topic, so that you could do your homework. So students, after completion of this topic, social hierarchies, I am giving you some homework. You have to do these questions. These are very short answer type questions and short answer type questions. So in first very short answer type question, you have to write which are the 3 leading social groups found in the early empires. So you have to write only the names of those 3 groups. You do not have to describe these groups. In second question, what does the word the equites stands for? And the third question, which is the remarkable feature of the classical world? In short answer type questions, in first questions you have to write the answer of, write a short note on middle class, and in second question you have to write the answer of who were the included in humiliores class. So you also have to write what does the word humiliores means, and what type of people or what type of group of people were included in this humiliores class. That is all for today.